Afternoon and welcome to Making Microsoft Teams Work Without Understanding Information Architecture. Just a quick hands up. How many people know what information architecture is? Okay, and you all are scared of Teams? Yeah? Yeah, that's why you're here, right? Okay, are you going to click?
I guess so.
Give me the click.
You want?
I'll click.
You click.
All right. My name is Alistair. I'm an Office Apps and Services MVP, and we thought we'd make it exciting for you by wearing some cool stuff, because information architecture is quite dull. I'm old school knowledge management, so it's not dull for me, but Teams does scare me.
So because we're also social junkies, we're going to take selfies with like that half of the crowd and then that half of the crowd. So we want people to pretend to be excited in this session, because, you know, it's information architecture. Woo-hoo. So everybody on this side first? Yeah, look at that enthusiasm. And this side beat them. There's less of you, but please do a better job.
There we go.
That's it.
All right. So just the flow today, we're going to talk about, for those who didn't put their hands up, what is information architecture, traditional information architecture, versus what other people think information architecture is. Knowledge management practitioners and information architecture is different to what normal people think information architecture is. Then we're going to talk about the Teams approach. So what does it mean when you're working inside of Teams when it comes to information architecture? Because it's sort of sparse. Looking at a team strategy. So now that we know what you can and cannot do inside of Teams, how do we manage that from an information architecture perspective? Some technical considerations, and we'll jump into a demo, and then some closing slides. Is this when you talk? Do you talk now?
I can just say hi, but I've already spoken, so I'm good. My ego's satisfied.
So let's look at traditional information architecture. Everyone's seen this Venn diagram, right? We all know what it is, and we understand what it is. In this context, it's very different to what we know as knowledge management practitioners information architecture is. Specifically when it comes to the Microsoft ecosystem and what happens there. This one says, well, we've got content, context, and we've got users. And traditional web developers will go and look at this and go, oh, that makes sense. But we're not traditional web developers. We are people that are traditionally working inside of SharePoint. We're knowledge management practitioners, like I said before, and we understand how to structure information architecture. And this is where the divide comes, because if you are used to working in products like OpenText or SharePoint or FileNet or Documentum, the time that you've spent there is very different to how you embrace Teams. Because with Teams, you can just create things. And I'm going to hand over to Loryan to take you through some of the other things.
Thank you. So quickly, what do people think of the orange shirt? Is it a bit loud? It's only because he chose it. Just some live feedback.
Well, we've got caps that go with it, and the orange on the cap actually works with the orange on the T-shirt.
Oh.
But then we had other
instructions.
T-shirts. We had other T-shirts. He just couldn't get one in his size.
Right, okay. Fantastic. So let's talk about the world we live in now with Teams, with apps. We've got all these different apps and how they interact with each other. It used to be quite simple. We used to have basically our server, our email, a couple of line of business applications. But now what we've got is all these different little apps integrating with each other, all these different information flows going from one to the other. Has anybody tried to connect like two third-party apps to each other? Have we had fun with that? Has anybody ever heard of BizTalk server? Yeah. Specific, we need a server to connect servers to each other. And so in the cloud world, we have, you know, information brokers and those kind of things, but how does this work inside of Teams? Because in theory, everything's inside of Office 365. And if Teams is the app hub for Office 365, then in theory, it should be the best experience, yes? Who here has been using Microsoft Teams for a while? Is it the best when it comes to information architecture and connecting things? So what I'm going to do is take you through a bit of the challenges, and so how do we look at that when it comes to Microsoft Teams, when it comes to user experience as well as information architecture? So one of the terms that you may not have heard much, because the marketing-friendly term is App Hub, because everybody's about apps now. It's all about the little Instagrams and Snapchats and the like. So one of the terms that Microsoft uses internally to describe Teams is as a meta OS. So OS being your operating system, being your Windows desktop experience.
Is that a new term, a meta OS?
You were there. It was in March.
Meta, that sounds
Meta.
like something out of...
If I could finish, this might make sense.
Okay, sorry.
It was a story. You've interrupted my flow. We'll start again. Go back a few slides. So if you think about the operating system is your desktop that powers your hardware and your peripherals and those kind of things. Teams is positioned to be that meta OS that sits on top of it, that interacts between all the different applications and you, the human being. So instead of doing all the application switching, the theory is that we sit inside of Teams and we do context switching. So it's a bit of a different approach. So the challenge that we've got is the digital workspace and the battle between Teams versus the intranet. Because as we're trying to put more information into Teams to get access to it, what place does the intranet have? So does anybody here refer to their intranet as a digital workplace, digital workspace? Anybody? Bueller? Okay, no, so this is going to be a great session for that. So it's the challenge because a lot of people still think that, well, the intranet is where you go to get your information. It's where you go to connect with your leave tracking system. It's where you go to fill in forms to show my tasks for the day and that kind of thing. And there's a lot of intranet in the box solutions that actually preload all these different web components to it. So we would have seen this week with some of the announcements from Teams and SharePoint that they're actually connecting the dots between each other. But the reality is we still need a digital workspace, or I still call it an intranet because I don't see this as a place where I do work. For me, I do work inside of applications. This is kind of a landing page. That's my personal opinion. I'm not saying that the intranet has no place. I just personally believe that this is where you go to kind of interact with the company, to interact with some high-level data and maybe some systems. But Teams is where I go to do my real work, to interact with people and content. So it's a bit of a change in how we go. So, bad placement there for the hand. I was about to say excuse me, now it's a double excuse me for that little tap. So what happens with metadata? Who's here has worked for years with metadata inside of things like SharePoint? A few people? So I'm one of those people who dates back to SharePoint Portal Server 2001. Anybody remember that? Yeah, a few nodding heads, good, I'm not the oldest in the room. Excellent. So if anybody has worked with SharePoint even for a few years, SharePoint has historically been around metadata. It's around putting information around the files so that we can easily find them, sort them, filter them. Because for so many years, we've been working with folders. And how much fun are folders? Click, 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 back, click. What happens if you accidentally drag? That's the worst experience. So for years, Microsoft has been trying to get people to do metadata. It's been so fascinating for me when I sometimes introduce a client to SharePoint and they discover metadata. And they're like, wow, this is fantastic. It's been there for almost 2 decades. It's like one of the most basic features. But we still like our folders. And I think it was last year at Summit where Jeff Teeper, the corporate vice president of SharePoint, basically got up and said, we're done fighting with people on folders. We're going to embrace them. Because for years, metadata and column views and all those kind of things in SharePoint have been kind of the replacement for folders, but people struggled. You could actually make metadata in SharePoint look like folders, but hands up here who thinks users can really get columns and sorting and filtering and lists? Anybody here that reckon their users are that powerful? Ooh, well, you're going to have to come up and explain that later. So the challenge that we have, though, is we can still do metadata. So inside of SharePoint, we've got columns, and they've made it so much easier in modern SharePoint sites to create a column and just add that metadata and create views. Really easy. Now, this particular slide is already out of date. It's wonderful working in this era of cloud where it's like, hey, I've created a slide, and now it's out of date because the technology has changed. This is actually not that new. A few months ago, Microsoft announced that they were bringing metadata to Teams. So great, we can still, all that hard work we have done with all that information architecture and our taxonomy and all these kind of old historical words, which are still relevant, in Teams is not lost now. Fantastic. Except when we get here. Oh, don't
Too soon, I didn't do it. Too soon. Because it's going to be lost.
Yeah, so what about File Explorer? Has anyone ever seen metadata in File Explorer? Nope. Oh, good one, Phil. So in File Explorer, you take your SharePoint team, SharePoint team site, love the wording, and now you've got a sync button that's coming soon to Teams. So you sync that locally, and you've got metadata just gone. All that stuff has just disappeared. So what point did we have for creating all that fancy system? Shouldn't we have just been better off with folders in the first place? Especially if you do things like channels. So who here has put a bunch of content into a SharePoint site and then connected to a team to it and then gone, wait, where did my content go? People experience that? And that's one of the challenges that we have is Teams doesn't care about your files. It does, but not the stuff you already had. Teams wants channels. So we've got to figure out how do we address that. So if I've already established SharePoint team sites, and from last year at Ignite, they introduced the feature to groupify them, which allows you to actually connect an Office 365 group. And so now we can connect a team to it. Fantastic. Except for all the amazing content that you had in there before. What do you do with it? Do you create a tab that is actually your files tab? Because you can't get rid of the files tab. So you create another one that's document library or whatever you want to call it, or real files. And that shows your SharePoint metadata. It shows your existing folders that are outside of the team's folder structure. Or do you pick everything up and stick it in general and sort it out later? Did anybody come across that scenario? Yeah, first thing that I found was like, great. Oh, where's my stuff gone? So it's quite frustrating. So you have this kind of chicken and egg scenario, which I'll refer to in a bit. But the other thing we've also found is when you rename a channel. Has anybody done that before? Yeah. New name, old name. I called one, I created a channel called Proof of Concept, then I came up with a fancy marketing name called Incubator. And I renamed the channel to be Incubator, and the folder is still called Proof of Concept. So when I say to somebody, yeah, it's in the Incubator files, where are they? I don't see Incubator there. Because they've synced it to their File Explorer, or they're accessing it via the browser. So it's a bit broken. So this is the thing, is it's a bit of a challenge. Some of this stuff is being addressed, but we've got some challenges with how we kind of architect all our content around it. So the other thing we've also got is then subfolders. Has anybody worked with subfolders before? Rhetorical question. I expect every hand to go up for that one. We love our subfolders. Go Windows 3.11. So when you upload a file inside of a chat, inside of a conversation, inside of Teams, does anybody know where it goes? Any hands? I have no swag to give you, but I'd like a hand.
Oh, I should have brought swag.
But where in the library does it go? Yes. So what happens if that file should actually live in a subfolder? We don't have that ability. We can't actually upload it to a subfolder in the right place. So again, our information architecture, we've even done for a folder structure, is thrown out. So this is a bit of a challenge for us. One of the things that I personally do, because I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to this stuff, is I'll actually upload it into the right folder and then link it into the conversation, which is not ideal, and I can't really expect every single user to do it, but that's kind of the way to do it. I'm working around the restriction of information architecture that I've got inside of it. Come on. There we go. So multiple folders, and multiple files in SharePoint. Has anybody had that, where there's like 14 different copies of the same file in different sites? Yes. So in Teams, that's kind of addressed because you can actually take a file that's sitting in one team and talk about it in another team. So we've got this great button there called Share a Link, and it's highlighted. Please, users, press it. But what do you think people are going to do? They're going to click Upload a Copy, because that's kind of what they think. I want to put a copy of it here. Because people still don't understand sharing permissions when it comes to Teams and all these kind of things. So we still end up with potentially multiple copies. There was this great feature called Managed Copies in SharePoint. Does anybody remember that? No? Yes? No? Anybody at all? Please don't leave me hanging. One would, thank you. Not alone.
I don't remember it.
You don't remember? No. It was this great feature from, I think, SharePoint 2003, that if you took this file and you could actually say, make a copy, and you could put it into another library, and it was effectively like a ghost copy of the original file. So if you modified the original file, this copy would change as well. It was wonderful, but nobody knew how to use it, even a specialist here. I think I'm going to take your glasses away. You can't be called a specialist if you didn't know that.
I just said it so I could be different.
Oh, you already are different. We've got glasses. Cool. So that's the thing. So we've got to educate users again that, hey, please don't create copies of content. Otherwise, we're going to need expensive third-party tools to kind of find all this stuff so we don't have multiple versions. So archiving a team. Who's done this before? Has anybody archived a team in Teams? No? So what that does is that archives the team, but nothing underneath it. Actually, is there anybody from Microsoft in this session? I may get kicked out of the MVP program after this. And is that GIF going to keep going? All right. So the challenge is when you archive the team, as I said, all it does is archives the team itself. It doesn't archive SharePoint. It doesn't archive any of the other content. So if your project has finished, what do you do with the content? Because the team is archived. It's now in read-only mode. But I can't actually do anything in SharePoint. Like the SharePoint content's still there. It's live. So we've also got this challenge. So again, what do? Do we manually, go through and manage this process? Do we use a third-party tool? How do we address this kind of stuff? And so I said chicken and egg. I meant horse and cart because, I've been on the booth for 2 hours, so I'm a little bit tired. So you then have this scenario of managing those folders. As I talked about before, you've got the general, you've got all these other channels, but you've already potentially moved to SharePoint Online. So what comes first? Do we move all our files into SharePoint first and then restructure it? Because, as I said, Teams won't care about any folders you've already got in the library. It just cares about what it already knows. So we've got that challenge there from a migration perspective, especially if you're moving two teams or if you've already moved the organization from a unified comms perspective and now you're moving their files. That's in that scenario, you've already potentially got Teams. But if you're doing it the other way around or you've already got SharePoint, you've got a bit of a challenge. You've got this, horse and cart. Which one goes first? So yeah, do we provision the team first to make the channel folder structure? Because part of the problem with that is people go, okay, I think it's this way, and I'll go create all these different channels. And then someone comes along and says, no, that's not how we do it. I'm going to go create more channels. Someone had that fun? Everybody thinks they've got their own way to do it. And the last one is Planner. So Planner actually has no way to move content from one place to the other. If you attach files in Planner, they live in Planner. People don't think to put a link into Planner, which can actually link back to SharePoint. It's got its own files in there. So that's a challenge you've then got is, well, hang on. This file that's attached to this task for me to do, is that already in Teams? Am I saving it back to this plan? So there's a real challenge there around how users work with information architecture, not just how we do it. So is anyone really keen to go and deploy Teams now? Have I scared you off? No. He's the man with the fix. I've created the challenge. You create the solution.
Good Lord. Okay, so we've gone through Loryan's various metaphors with, who's this guy? Broadchurch, right?
David Tennant.
Broadchurch, he's in Broadchurch.
I have no idea. It's a GIF. It's just, look for mankind.
Broadchurch, for the UK people in the room, yeah. So how do we go about looking at the smorgasbord of inefficiencies that's now, can I say that? I can't say inefficiencies and teams in the same sentence. This is live streamed and recorded.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So how do we go about fixing this, right? Because because we're all knowledge practitioners and we want that ability to go and create a site column and then connect it to a content type and then roll up that, right? And then we want to add a retention schedule and a disposition because we believe in information rights management for that content, and then that rolls up into our site hierarchy because that's how we build stuff, right? That's how we go about building all of these fancy things where we can actually say, well, this is our company organogram. HR's got a little space over there, marketing's got a space there, engineering's got a space there, and sales has got a space there. But now you bring in teams. So Greenfields, it's great because there's no SharePoint, because no one's using SharePoint yet. Well, what happens when companies have already adopted SharePoint and they've already got this great structure? So what is the approach? Where do we go to when we actually get there? Because we are saying, so how do we build out our information architecture? Any librarians in the room? Where? One? DCMI? DCMI, Dublin Core. You understand that? Great, there's another one person that understands what we're talking about. So traditionally you'd go and you'd say, well, we want metadata, not meta-OS, metadata. It's not Avengers or X-Men, it's meta-OS. And we want to build that. Also, how do we go about ensuring that we have a single point of entry with one version of the truth when we're driving everything from Teams? So where do we put it? I mean, do we put it in SharePoint? Do we create it in Teams? Do we put it in OneDrive? Are there other places where we can store stuff? Do we attach it as a file in Exchange? Because those things all matter. And right now, when you create a team, what happens? Do we have that slide in there? We do have the one with the thing.
Yeah, back a few.
Did you go through it already? I wasn't watching.
I wasn't watching. What are you talking about? My
But
battery's
what happens when you create a team?
Look, my battery's run out. I've only got one shoe.
You should have charged the other one.
I should have. Has anybody ever thought of like plugging a USB port into a shoe before?
We've done it.
My daughter has these shoes. I didn't want to feel left out.
So what is the strategy? How do you approach information architecture from teams? And I'll take you through closing the gates when we get to the demo. So what happens? Is it there, Loryan? Where's the slide, boy? Is it on the other one?
Which one?
Did you delete slides?
No.
Okay, we'll get there. So what happens when you create a team? I think that's the important thing. So when you create a team, it creates a site collection. That is separate from everything else. It's not like in the old days we'll go and we say, we've got this top-level site collection and we create 247 subsites. Because subsites are the spawn of the devil. Are you creating a subsite?
No, I'm going to have a look for that missing slide.
So how do we do it from teams? So your approach from teams is, do I glue it? Do I groupify or teamify an existing site? And then things get missing? Or what do I do? Now, has anyone used a Teams template? Nobody? Yes, my demo is going to win. All right, so your strategy from a Teams perspective is to start off small. You can connect a team to a SharePoint site. We've now figured that out, right? And you can start rolling up that content, but that content's not automatically going to come through when you go to the Files tab, because everything's driven out of that specific Files tab. And that's how people who have never touched SharePoint actually work with SharePoint, and they will never know that SharePoint actually exists in the back end until someone clicks that button and go, ooh, what is SharePoint? So architecting your teams should be done either hierarchically, that one. It's either architected that way, so marketing will get a team, sales will get a team, HR will get a team, bearing in mind that you need to understand naming conventions when it comes to these things. Because you'll create a marketing and group communications team, and then it cuts it off.
Is that the one you wanted?
That's the one. Is it there?
It's further.
Is it further on?
Next
Is
one.
it the next slide? Great.
Across.
Thank you. All right. So understand how to create these things. So when we look at working from a template, which we'll show you in the demo, the librarian in the room that's looking at his phone, did you take a picture of me and now you're just adding some glamour? All right, okay. If you're bored, I can talk about DCMI, and then we'll talk about metadata initiatives. So really what you want to do is you want to, either understand that you have SharePoint and then glue teams to that and work backwards, or B, if you're starting fresh. How many people are starting fresh in the room? Okay, quite a few.
See a few fresh-ish.
Yeah.
I like how.
So if you're starting fresh, what's important to understand is that what you build in Teams gets deployed, and I'm actually going to take you through to that slide I want to show you. This one. And this was created by a good friend of ours, Matt Wade. So it's important to understand what happens when you create a team. Is there a thingy? Yeah, there. So that is what happens when you create a team, that one over there. Look at all the services that gets generated. So the one we are interested in is the one that's got the super S on there. Because that's really where you're going to spend most of your time when it comes to information architecture. So we go and we approach teams the very same way that we approach building out our knowledge management. So we say that we have a hierarchical structure. So marketing gets a team. We're not very Oprah right now because not everyone gets a team. And it's important to note, how many people in the room have actually had a conversation with business where you say, well, justify a site versus a library? Yeah? And what was the response? So it's also important to understand that. So what do you get when you create a team? Some people might just need to be attached to a channel so that they can communicate and still store content through that channel in a folder. So not everyone gets a team because people can still communicate through channels, right? And we understand how channels work. So start off understanding the structure of what happens when you create a team. Because creating a team with great power comes great responsibility. So I understand. A lot of people will go, oh, we've got 127 teams. Great. 127 teams, you're going to have 127 of all of those things, or most of them, outside of Yammer. See, Yammer's left out. You noticed?
Yeah, because you have to create a Yammer from Yammer. You can't create it from anywhere else.
Separatist.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Also, when you do all of these things, you've got a Teams wiki, and you also have a SharePoint wiki. So how does that also confuse you, right? Mm. So now we've established that we are going to give most people teams, right? So how do we go about doing that? We create a team for marketing, we create a team for sales, we create a team for HR. And with that comes, excuse me, your own SharePoint site collection and all the power of that, and you've got to add users to that or users to the team, and they'll be able to upload content and edit content. So how do you manage permissions effectively? Loryan, have you got an answer for that?
No.
Or you're not listening?
I'm not listening, and I don't have an answer.
Okay. All right.
Private channels. Another thing.
So it's important to understand the ramifications of what you're doing. If you are building an intranet, please don't build an intranet from Teams. Understand what an intranet is, because you're going to have to glue all those site collections together. And how do we do that? We do that with hub sites, right? And we just got told that you can have a root site collection hub site now. There's a PowerShell command that you can run that will turn your classic root site collection into a hub site, and now you can have the richness of having site collections and a hub site manage that. But you can't surface the hub site. Traditionally, you're going to have to embed it as a tab.
Yeah.
But a iframed tab.
For now.
For now, yeah. So let's have a look at what we can do, because right now it sounds very scary, right? Everyone's worried about, but yes, I create a team and people can upload stuff, and they can share stuff, and they can create other things. And how do I enforce metadata when I create a team? What happens? It will just go and generically create that shared document library, and you'll have a general folder in that document library. So how do I go about saying, well, I know that HR needs policy documents, but I want them to define that this document is a policy document that they're working on. So how do I go about doing that? Well, there's this cool little feature called Create Team from a Template. So for those information architects in the room that are worried that I can no longer go in and create a site column, a content type, apply rights management policy to that, traditional SharePoint 101, and restrict people from editing it? Well, you can, because you can create a template. So in the old days, we'd go and create a site template. Anyone still know what an STP is? You know what an STP is, Loryan. It's not your lights on your shoes.
No, but thanks for the reminder of how old I am.
Well, if I know that, I'm just as old, but I look younger, because the James.
The James.
The James is here.
His beard is called the James, just FYI.
All right. So let's unpack how we actually go about building out these templates so that when you create a team for that specific department, you can still take traditional information architecture practices and apply that. Everyone want to see that? Yeah, because it's a bit dull right now with death by PowerPoint. Okay. I did not sacrifice.
Take the glasses off.
Making sure it's you. Could not recognize you. That's fine. Do I remember the pin? Okay, so I did not sacrifice the chicken to the demo gods, because that's generally what we do. So if my demo doesn't work, that's the reason why. And I'm not wearing a chicken suit, because that's traditionally what I do when speaking to demos. All right. Ta-da. All right. So this is a traditional SharePoint site or modern site that gets created on the back end when you create a team. Everyone familiar with this? Right? Okay. And that's fairly pretty. You can see there's two members. and I've got the document library. And as you can see there, I'll show you what the team looks like. There's the corresponding team. You can actually see that when we created, it's not even your surface.
Yeah.
And it was open.
And it was right next to the power pack.
So when we create this team, I've created a couple channels here, and you'll notice that the channels now get their own sort of folder structure. What did you say about renaming things?
It doesn't flow through.
Okay. So if you're renaming things at a channel level, please rename it here. This is a Loryan strand top tip. Do not rename it in SharePoint because it breaks. So
Oh, yeah. That's true. Just don't rename it.
and if you do rename it and you go look for it in SharePoint, it's not renamed. It will stay the same name as the original one. So also be wary of that.
So educate your users because they have that control.
So I've created this Ignite session planning team, right? And if I say create team, and I want to create it from a template, I can select that, and I can go choose and cool session people. That's you, right? And I can decide now what I'd want to include from the original team. So if you are going to go work out what your information architecture is going to be and what you want to do, it's one of the ways of making sure that you enforce referential integrity based on your IAM model when you actually start creating it. So now that we understand how to create teams from a template, we can go lock down things and build out things, right? But what about security? We've spoken about security earlier. Now remember, we've got all these funky things on the other end where we get Stream, we get a OneNote, we also get SharePoint, we get OneDrive, and we get a shared calendar and all of those things. Now, if you're creating a team and you want to use Teams for meetings, if you're not allowed to create, and I've seen this, an Exchange mailbox as part of creating Teams, you're not going to be able to schedule any meetings, right? So be wary of that. That's one of the other things to consider. Now, if you don't want to go down this route, but you're still worried about security, because security is a big thing. How many people have problems with security? And how many people are scared of what happens when you create a team and security? Yeah? What type of security?
It's got to be more than that.
Hey?
It's got to be more than that who are scared of what happens when you create a team.
The other half don't use teams.
You don't know what you don't know.
Right.
Bliss.
So remember, I think it's important to note that Teams content delivery network, let's call it that, is SharePoint. Right? So whatever you put in SharePoint adheres to what happens in SharePoint. Yes? We're good with that? So where do you worry about managing? I want to find the right one. No, that one. Okay. So what's interesting to note, when you start looking at external sharing and all of those things, when it comes to documents, you can invite guests to your team, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that they have access to files, because files sits in SharePoint, and files sits in OneDrive. So what's important to note, even though you have external guests accessing your team, you have to go into the OneDrive admin center to go fiddle with sharing, right? Because I can pull that slider down, I can pull this slider down, and now I can stop people from accessing that. It's the same with device access. So now we're talking about security, information architecture security. Once you've built out your IAM model and you understand that you want to create a template for teams, and you're going to use templates to create teams because that's how your permissions model work, your security model work, and your access to information model works, that forms your information architecture with all your site columns and your site collection content types and using a content type hub. Anyone use the content type hub to publish? Yeah, still works. Good. So those features that you still have there that you are worried about would not come through to Teams is there. It's just you don't do it through the Teams UI, because that's all for chat-based information management, which is another conversation. So now that you know that you can stop people from sharing, and you can actually look at advanced sharing. So yes, it's not managed in the Teams admin center because it's not really Teams. So it's important to note that you are going to have to juggle between various admin centers inside of Office 365 so that you can restrict and manage your permissions policies. So great, I want to create an HR team, but I want to share with payroll, which doesn't sit in HR. And it might be an external vendor that handles your payroll because you've got quite a few staff members and you want to give them access to specific things. So you can give them access to the team as a member or as a guest. But at the same time, you can also limit them to what they have access to. I'm going to take it one step further and say, well, that's great, you can give them access, but they can still read, right? Still read it. I can click on it, I just can't edit it. So how do we manage that even further? Everyone know what Azure is? Yeah. And was everyone in Jeff Teeper's session around SharePoint and OneDrive and the new announcements? Yeah. You've seen that the Azure Information Protection is now coming to the Security and Compliance Center. Is everyone excited about that? Yeah.
Should be.
So let's go have a look at what we can do here. You all seen this screen? Yes, no, maybe.
Does anybody not understand what Azure Information Protection is first? And
how many people know what Azure IP is? Okay, all right.
Half the room.
What Azure IP is, it allows you to protect and restrict access to content based on policies. Right. Now, normally, my slide deck would have a picture of a CRT monitor at a photocopy machine, because that's how you steal data from an organization, right? We've come a long way since then.
The way that this actually works is Azure Information Protection goes beyond SharePoint, Teams, all these kind of things. So you can actually have a file protected by Azure IP on a USB stick that people can't open. You can leave that on a train, like people do with iPhones and Android prototypes, apparently. So you can actually leave content wherever you want. You can stick it on a public-facing website and people can't break into it because it's the content that's protected, not the location that originated from.
All right, so I'm going to run through this fairly quickly. You can start creating labels which inherit policies, so highly confidential is an easy one. And also I want to protect the content. So this is the cool part about Azure Information Protection, and it's coming through to the Security and Compliance Center. So if I look at the permissions available, let me just scroll there, you can configure what users get to see what. So in this case, I can add, I just want to browse, and I think it's only me. Alistair, there we go, and there's the other one. And what this allows me to do is to define what rights this user would have to a specific document based on a condition. Now what's cool is I can have a condition that says, yes, that's fine. If I have specific identifiable information in there, so like a routing number or a social security number, if a document stored anywhere. So if you're storing a document in Teams, if you're storing a document in SharePoint, I can now restrict people from doing stuff. So no, you can't print it. No, the snipping tool won't work. No, you can't download it. The only way you're going to copy it is by taking your phone out and taking a picture of it and then pulling it into OneDrive and then letting OneDrive OCR it, and then you can copy the text out. Don't tell people I told you how to do that.
In fact, Azure IP works so well that, has anybody used the snipping tool in Windows? When you've got protected content up on the screen and you fire up snip and try and take a screenshot, it actually grays out the screen that has the content on it.
It blacks out the back.
So as you were saying, the only way to steal that kind of content is to take a photo with like a Polaroid. Do they still have those? In a traditional old school phone.
So the fear we've always had around working with content inside of Teams, using a host of services, security, control, through what you have in the backend admin centers, also using Azure Information Protection, which will now be hosted in the Security and Compliance Center, you can now restrict people from accessing content. Added to that, based on specific conditions, you can also use, and we've down to 5 minutes, so I'm going to wrap this up quickly. You can now also go and, where is it? Which one is it? No. You can actually create classification labels, which are different labels to other labels. And I can now create a label and assign a retention schedule to it. So you can also say, well, every document that is uploaded that has got something to do with HR, I can now make sure that it doesn't get deleted for 5 or 7 years. So you still have the richness of what you had on the back end of SharePoint inside of Teams. Because it's about the object, it's not about where it's stored. So remember, you can either create these policies and put it inside of a SharePoint document library, or you can create these policies and actually it doesn't matter where you are. The nice thing about Azure Information Protection, which will fit in there, is that you can do auto classification as well. So now you're not expecting the user to classify the document. Also, the Security and Compliance Center with Azure Information Protection is actually baked now into the Office client. So if you're running an Office 365 client, I'm actually going to open up Word quickly. I'm super impressed. Is it in this one? No.
I would offer to sing while we wait, but as you can hear by my throat, I'm a bit raspy. That's the main reason why I wouldn't sing for you right now.
So normally, roughly about here, there's a classify and protect icon, little blue thing, and you'll be able to suck in. This is a Surface Go running full-blown Office on Windows 10S. That might be why, and it's brand new, so I should have brought my other machine. But you'll have a classify and protect option there if users wanted to classify the document themselves. What's nice about auto classification is that if people put terms in like triple heart bypass in a document and that condition is a condition that's sitting in the Security and Compliance Center, it'll automatically classify that content for you. So you're actually taking the thought out of your users by from classifying the document themselves. So what's nice is you build the classification schema like you would traditionally do with information architecture and have those rules built into the back end of SharePoint or OneDrive or inside of Azure Information Protection and let the users create content they want to or how they would want to. And those rules will automatically be applied. I think that's it from my side.
That is it. That is it. So I think the key message that we're trying to get there is stop trying to think about metadata, folders, all the kind of old ways we've tried to classify and manage content, but instead use these new features that we've got so that you can let the teams be the teams themselves and actually use these labels, classifications, and also this fancy new Microsoft search thing they announced this week as well.
Just one thing on that, you can also do e-discovery. So if you wanted to create a case to go find what sort of content people are creating, you can now use e-discovery and all the advanced threat protection that sits in the security, well, not in one of the admin centers, well, it's actually in the Security and Compliance Center from a data governance perspective, where you can actually go and look at your audit logs. So I want to find all documents. So remember, the locations don't matter. You can actually go search not only SharePoint, but Teams for chats as well to make sure that you are compliant when your compliance officer comes in and says, well, I want to know what happens in Teams. Yeah.
Fascinating.
All right.
We've been waffling on for a while. Does anybody have questions? I'm seeing lots of furrowed brows. I'm hoping that we've educated as well as potentially confused or concerned you. It's supposed to be a good balance. If anybody has any questions, please come up to the mics.
Yeah. Moving from old SharePoint to new SharePoint with Teams. Are you talking about moving from classic to modern? I've got a session there is a way to do it, yeah. I've got a session at 3:25 at Expo 1 to talk about migrating, top 5 tips to migrating to SharePoint 2019. And we'll talk about classic to modern as well. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed that.